Baggers. This is the title we give to the small group of players that specialize in going backward. We've already covered the basics to rule sets and why it's viable to have some racers going in the opposite direction, which I'll link right up here. So now it's time to learn a few basic strats. First up, there are 3 types of courses in this game when it comes to a bagger. There are closed loops. These are courses that can be driven backward without much difficulty. We won't cover these courses much, as for the most part, lines are pretty obvious and just require practice. After closed loops, we have open loops. These are courses that can be driven backward, but they require a number of falling off and respawning on the other side. And the last type of loop is a no loop, or half loop. Courses, as you probably could have guessed, that can't be driven completely backward, normally because of barricades or cannons. The primary focus of this video will be on open loop courses, as they require the most amount of studying ahead of time and practice compared to the rest. But we'll touch up on some strats on a few no loop courses as well. So going in order, the first open loop course is Mushroom Gorge. Start by going backward into the cave and wheelie off in between these 2 mushrooms. A side note, be sure to start charging the SSMT during the countdown when the 1 appears. This will give you a slight advantage to players who aren't aware of this trick. Not to mention, it's course universal, so you'll see us use it on every course. When you respawn on the green shroom, just back up, as it's faster than turning around and SSMTing. Then once you respawn inside the cave, start charging the SSMT in midair. Again, you'll gain some time to other baggers who don't know this, and logically, it's course universal. Next, Toad Factory is the first no-loop course. We'll cover no-loop courses more in depth in a future bagging video, but for now just know that both baggers tend to try to pull shock on the first item set. CM. Again, a no-loop course. The difference between this and Toad Factory is that you go backward to the last item set to bag. There's a strat that you could hang off the edge of the ramp and grab the box, but it is so ridiculously precise I personally couldn't get footage for it. I talked to Sky9 and he actually told me it was a frame-perfect trick. So, next up, DKS. This is technically a open loop track, but it can be played as a no loop as well. The strat of going to the top of the mountain and respawning back over to the finish line is difficult to some players. I like to aim using this blue imaginary triangle on the road, then a line between the 4th and 5th arrow to the right. Wheelie, shroom, then up trick. Once you respawn back down at the bottom, be sure to go forward to right in front of the cannon section to make sure that you don't mess up any checkpoints. If you struggle with this shortcut, you could play DKS as a no-loop course. Just wait at the highest item set and just bag for shock. Warrior's Goldmine, the first closed loop track we'll be looking at today. The strat that needs practice here is the railroad cut. Using the short area of railroad, drive off and drift back onto the main road. Maple Treeway. Another no-loop course, but this one is a little more complicated. After you go backward and ride the wavy section, go off slightly to the left after the big stump road. Then in the cave, drift left into the little sliver and try to land on the branch using Maple Treeway physics. After that, bump hop up into the treehouse. Keep in mind, SSMTing and wheeling too early can sometimes give you a lot of air. Then, once past the wigglers, drive up the second branch on the side, then fall off on either the right side or the left side of the log. You should respawn in the hut, to where you'll be bagging for the shock. Grumble Volcano is another tricky course. Just like DKS, this can be a NL or OL track, depending on the skill level of the baggers and how lucky they get. If you're in 12th, back up into the lava, then do a series of respawn drifts into respawns until you get to your first item set. You'll want to pull a golden, but this can be done with triple shrooms or a story and a bit of luck. With the golden, shoot off and aim for the right side of this floating rock thing. And in a story, or a triple shrooms, aim for this floating platform and hope that the cycle lets you land on it. Then keep going backward until you get to this floating platform. You'll want to wait until the platform moves to the left, then keep respawning and going backward. Next, BCWii. Start by going backward and wheeling off without hitting the fire wheel. Once you make your way down to the split, use this little piece of road collision to go over the ramp. But if you mess that up, you could just drive up the half pipes, like shown. Now depending on your skill, you'll either do the reverse half pipe twice, or if you can't do that, just wheelie, then spin drift over the mud. A lot of people don't know you can do that. Once you respawn over on the higher section, just keep going back till you get to the broken bridge. If you have a shroom, you could just hop and shroom over, but if not, you could just respawn. The next course is Waluigi Stadium, a closed loop course like Wario's Goldmine, but right at the beginning there's a ramp right behind you, and clearing it can be tricky. I align at the right side of the starting line, then aim like as shown, drift left, then either wheelie or hop. There are different methods of doing this, but as long as you could get over to the other side, that's really all that matters. BC3, again, another closed loop course, however there is a respawn strat. Using this wall, spin drift hop, then if you either shroom or SSMT off, you could respawn over to the other side. Plus with a little bit of practice, you could low trick these gold bar ramps backward. The next course, DK Jungle Parkway, is an open loop course. The main thing to focus on is the respawn at the cannon section. You'll want to be inside this general area. You could use the island in the distance as a general marker, but I would practice this course to get a feel of how far you could push this respawn. And not just this course, but other courses as well. Finally, we have BC64. This is the track that proves whether you actually know how to back or not. First, start by going backward and respawn to the upper platform. You can do so by what people call respawn strat, which is when you dive off the track early, that way you hit the bottom of the wall. Here's a diagram of where to aim when trying to respawn, as some people come in too hot and end up bouncing against the wall, therefore bouncing them off into the wrong respawn. After you get to the higher road, align to be as parallel with the spiral road as possible, as the respawn area is quite small, and once you get an alignment, SSMT into a broken wheelie. This can be done on either side of the wall, just make sure you're close enough to the wall and you get enough distance. Then, backtrack to the stairs. Again, just like BC3, you'll need to spin drift off the wall and hop up to the first step. Then the rest of the stairs are drivable, so you could just make your way back to the finish line. Now this covers most of the basics. Of course, there are more advanced techniques that are used in higher div bagging wars, but the goal here is to learn, not get overwhelmed. Practice these strats until they become consistent, then sign yourself up to a clan as a bagger. Shoutouts to Sky9 and Eurorun for helping me with this. Sky actually has a no commentary video on backward strats, and he even gave me permission to use some of his footage. So I'd recommend learning the strats with me in this video, then use his video as a practice reference. Also, I know I sound like a broken record, but I do stream over at Twitch, so if you want to support me, go follow me over there, and if you like this video, let's do something different. Let's go like Sky9's video instead, and in the description, tell him happy holidays. Also, he's sick, so if you want to say get well soon, that works too. Good luck, and happy racing.